Hello, everyone. I hope every one of you is doing well. For my part, I'm working from home and I'm reaching out to you today because I wanted to present activities that I've created, especially for intensive ESL students who haven't been through all their 5 months. Their activities to foster oral interaction. I know some of you have started sending activities at home from day one. Others have waited for the activities by the me's and started sending some last week. I felt like it was easier, not easy, but easier to send writing tasks or reading tasks to students at home. So I've decided to create a list of oral interaction activities that you guys could do if you wanted to, of course, with your students using video call tools. There are many different available video call tools. As our board has a Google for Education account, I'd recommend using Google Meet. However, you can also use Teams if you wanted to, or one other very popular video call tool right now is Zoom, although you have to be very careful with that platform. There are 10 different oral interaction activities, and they are presented in weekly schedules from week 1 to week 10. Hopefully, we won't need all 10 weeks, and schools will reopen before that. However, these activities are totally doable in class, so they might be useful after all this anyhow. I also want to mention that although I am suggesting a way of doing these activities, you might want to do them totally differently, and that's fine. This is what a weekly schedule looks like. You will get them in both Google and Microsoft Word format. Um, this weekly schedule is editable, so you can change the name of the students if you want to. I recommend having different times for every group of 4 students, although I totally understand that you might prefer doing these activities with all the group at the same time, or you might want to have larger groups. You might want to change the timetable here because some of you might prefer doing these activities in the evening, or it might even be easier for the students. I guess every one of us has different responsibilities, or some students have parents working during the day and they don't have a second device. So that's why the schedule is editable so that each and every one of you can make the most out of it. Once you are done editing the weekly schedule for the students, you can download it as a PDF or send the link to the Google version or send the Word version. It's really up to you. The weekly schedule is divided into, I would say, 3 parts. The first part, the Monday, which of course could be done any other day, but is a preparation for discussion. The students do this preparation by themselves. They don't need you to do it, so they do it in advance. It's often a video to watch introducing the topic, and then they also have the material to print or reproduce. I made sure that the printable could also be reproduced fairly easily on a sheet of paper for students who don't have a printer at home. I do recommend that the students print or reproduce this activity sheet because it will be fairly easier for them to do the oral interaction activities if they don't have to navigate in between 2 tabs at the same time on their computers. I also recommend every time for them to have a pencil and eraser and the list or the printable that was recommended, but that's all they should need for the activities. Then the second part of the weekly schedule is the actual meetings for students to participate in the oral interaction. As I said earlier, I recommend meeting 4 students at a time, but you could meet with more students if you wanted to. And also, because this activity is optional, some students might want to do it for a week or want to skip it for a week. Also, you can, of course, reorder the activities in any other way that you want. So maybe your week 9 will become week 1. The last part is a wrap up activity. Most of the time, it's a Google form that students will complete. I'm not asking for names because they're not my students and I'm going to be receiving the answers. However, if you are comfortable enough with the Google tools, there is a list of all the Google forms that you could copy for yourself and change the link in the schedule right here so that when the students answer, they will answer to you, so you will be able to read all their answers. If you do so, I recommend adding a question, which is the name of the student, so that you know who wrote what. The activity also comes with slides for the teachers, either on Google Slides or PowerPoint. I recommend reading through the first slides because they may contain answers to questions you might have about these activities. The slides are divided into the 10 different weeks. Every week you have the theme, you have questions to ask to the students before starting the main oral interaction activity. And then you have the task, which is the main oral interaction activity. For this activity, I recommend to the teacher to not take part in the activity to let the students interact with one another. However, because they won't have dictionaries on hand, you might help them with the words they find the most difficult in the printable that they have. Um, so the themes for the 10 weeks are week 1 board games. Then you have week 2 chocolate, week 3 tiny houses, week 4 ice cream, week 5 Canada, week 6 candy art, week 7 zoos, week 8 airplanes, week 9 pizzas, and week 10 rainforests. Also, forgot to mention, but the weekly schedule is available right here in this slide. You will also have them, the 10 of them, together in one document, but you also will have them in different documents so that you can send them only one at a time to the student. If the activity requires an answer key, the link to the answer key is provided in the slide. If you click on it, for example, this activities talks about airplanes and other inventions that are related to transportation. So the students, they have a list of different means of transportation, and they have to place them in order that they think they were created by discussing with their peers, and the answer key is provided. So when the kids are done with the activity, you can validate their answer. The wrap up activities are also activities the students will do by themselves after their oral interaction. So it could be right after, or it could be a day or two later. So basically, most of them are Google Forms. Some include a video, some include little questions, other might include texts to write, putting steps in the correct order, like this one. Tiny houses. Here, the students have to write a little. So you see what these look like. Others don't have a Google form. One is on Edpuzzle as well. So the activities are a little different from one week to another. So that is all that I had to say about these activities. I hope they will be useful for you right now or in the future. If you have any questions about them, don't hesitate to contact me. Stay safe, everybody.